man in the mirror. You know, if you want to make a change, you start with the man in the mirror, ne?
Yeah.
I like that, man. So, listen, before we proceed with our two guests, let me ask you something. That was 1987, but if you fast forward 5 years, it's 1992. And this song is killing it.
It's a passion.
With the rhythm as a dancer. Man, it was a hit. Remember that song, by the way. And then, so they were in the red corner. In the blue corner from 2014, Jeremy gets into studio, and then this is his version of that song. Okay, so I have no volume on that one. But anyway, he does his song.
Don't tell him, you ain't need, don't tell him, you ain't need, gotta tell him, don't tell him.
There it is.
Don't tell him, you ain't need, don't tell him, you ain't need, gotta tell him, don't tell him.
All right, so Jeremy's version is called Don't Tell Him. So, by the way, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Between Snap, Rhythm as a Dancer, and that Jeremy, Don't Tell Him, which one do you prefer? Quick, fast. Huh? Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right, so he prefers Jeremy. I prefer Jeremy as well. You've got to vote, by the way. So get on to SpiceFM KE, get on to X. It's all about the record rumble. Is it the original from Snap, Rhythm as a Dancer from 1992? Ama is it Jeremy from 2014? Don't tell him. Vote now, and then in the next hour, Rubber Meet Road Time, we shall see what's what. Anyway, it's all about Transformation Thursday, where we aspire to inspire. What I call, it's a blend between a TED Talk and an Engage. People whose life stories epitomize grit. This guy, Yani, born, raised, Yani, he was so, they were looking so inward as far as Kirinyaga County was involved. He decided, you know what, come campus time, I'm going to go to the farthest campus within this our Republic of Kenya from here. Mm-hmm. And indeed, that's how we ended up in Bondo. What's it called? Jaramogi?
Oginga Odinga University.
Oh, it's just it.
Of Science and Technology.
You see, yeah. I knew that there was a very long name there after that one.
Yeah.
And then the focus is on tourism.
Yeah.
We've got to the stage where, now we want to specialize, but there's ecotourism and there's so many other things to do. But what you decided that is like, I'm going to, first of all, focus on finance before I get into the world of biashara.
Yeah.
All right. So why? No, okay, so let's go back to Campo.
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. So in your final stages, and you've built the networks.
Yeah.
Even in terms with industry players here as well. Mm-hmm. You've got networks, the Kenya Tourism Board of this world, and there's KTB. Who else is there?
Ecotourism Kenya.
That one.
Yeah.
All right. And then also, you've also you've done your intros.
Yeah.
But then you've also built yourself up as well. Mm-hmm. How have you done that?
So basically, I would say this is from aspirations. Let me say aspiration from within, inspiration from within. Because at this time, yes, I've gotten people to look up to, but still in the industry, there were no role models locally who you would have say maybe I aspire to be so and so. Although I used to look up to Najib Balala,
I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. So I always
that is interesting. When you say there are no role models to look up to, from what perspective are you a role model? In what sense? Because are you talking about an industry player, or are we talking about the people who police the industry? Are you talking about policymakers? Where? Because are you saying that, for example, the story of Sarova Group is not a role model? It's not something to aspire to be. Okay. Or this guy of Karitwanani Bonfire Ventures.
Okay.
you
this
see what I mean?
Will come later. And also, let me say also in terms of information dissemination. Remember, if you don't have information, basically you're just in the dark, because say you've mentioned Sarova.
Yes.
If you don't know about Sarova, there's no way you'd be as inspired by Sarova.
But that says a lot, though. Honestly, let me tell you something, Jeremiah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For somebody, how many years were you guys in Campo?
4.
Yeah, for 4 years.
Yeah.
What are you studying if you don't know about Sarova Group, by the way?
Now, I would come to know about these people in my third year.
What are you doing year 1 and 2?
Yeah, only in year 2, I'm in the books. I'm in the library, one. I'm surfing.
Yeah, but doing what? Because you see, me, what I honestly, okay, I don't know how obviously there's in terms of tourism.
Yeah.
Is it, what are we studying the flora and the fauna? What are we studying?
Yeah, you know the education system in
Yes.
Kenya.
Okay.
Back in the day, I don't know whether it's changed now.
Right,
but
right.
Back in the day,
Right.
you study things that don't relate with your
Field.
What the exposure you're getting in class is just the flora and fauna.
Right. So
But
this
out
so,
here is-
Yanni, hold on. So it's like this is an eland.
Yeah.
That is what you're being taught.
Yeah, and you know that's why
Okay.
you see most people end up maybe jobless after campus because
Right. Wow.
you focused on what you've been taught in class sana. You forget after class there's vitu kwa ground na lazima ukuje kwa ground before hata umalize campus. Interact na ground kidogo. So in my year 3, that's why I see, by the way, these things that we are studying in class, they're not going to take me anywhere.
Let me ask you, Utalii College bado iko?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, does it more or less teach the same things?
Yeah, it does. And I remember actually that made me kidogo tukosana with my parents when I was going to the university.
Yes.
Because at that time,
Yes.
Utalii was the highest institution that you could study tourism.
Bas.
And
It was the top seed.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
but then it never used to take because people in that time used to think tourism ni watu wa D+, C
Yes,
minus.
yes,
C,
yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
And then here I am with my very good grade,
Yes.
wanting to study tourism.
Yes.
Oh my God, my dad almost went nuts.
He almost lost it.
Yeah,
Mukakosana for a while.
yeah, tukakosana for a while. Actually, he knew I'm studying something to do with education.
Bas.
Until I think tukikaribia graduation, I had to tell him.
Hold on. So not only were you lying to your fellow cohort that you are from Nairobi, sorry, pretending, but you also told the old man that you were doing education. Wewe utakuwa mwalimu.
Yeah,
But
okay.
then you didn't know you're studying
That one
tourism.
was very justified. Kwa sababu, you know, the word was,
Yes.
if I don't change to education, he's not going to pay my fees.
Ah.
Because for him, he couldn't understand how
Yes.
a brilliant mind is going to do tourism.
Okay.
Because of the perception that tourism ni ya watu wa wapi, utalii,
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes, yes,
C
yes.
minus, C plus.
Yes.
So he wanted me to do education. So
But-
I had to stand with yes, I need to change career.
Yes.
And I'm taking education.
Yes.
But then tukikaribia graduation, of course I had to tell him, as you come for my graduation, just know I'm graduating with tourism management.
I like that. Tourism management. Because it's still is the biggest revenue earner for this country, for the Republic. Ne?
Yeah, sure.
Now, then you graduate and you then you start consultants. You start working in a tour firm.
Yeah.
What do you do? What are you doing there?
So I used to be a tour consultant. That is in the dealing with the domestic market.
Okay.
So domestic market is locals traveling to
Yeah,
Mombasa.
kina Jeff wakienda Coastal.
Jeff, yeah. Wakienda Masai Mara and there.
Yeah.
So I get an exposure of about 2 years. Then after the 2 years, I decide.
That must be very nasty work, by the way, because we can be very difficult. I've seen, by the way.
Yes.
When I see natives anywhere, I'm like, hey, watu usumbua.
Sana. Number one,
Why do you find that is?
I think it's mostly because number one, most natives don't know where they want to go. So they know they want to go to, say, Masai Mara, but they don't
know where in the Mara.
Where in the Mara. Yeah.
Bora
You see,
nione
unlike Wazungus,
kitu. Yes.
when they're coming, they already have done some research.
Bas.
They know I want to go to Masai Mara.
Bas.
I want to sleep in this cab.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to use this type of a vehicle.
Yes.
So for a domestic traveler, you have to start with we have these types of vehicles. We have these types of accommodation. Then we have this side of Masai Mara, this side of Masai Mara.
Kinaja swali ile ambayo ni muhimu iko Naivas.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was for 2 years.
That was for 2 years, yeah.
And basically, you're thrown in the deep end. You learnt everything there. Then what happens next?
So I decide I want to venture into something different. Because my dream has always been to integrate tourism with finance. So I decided to go to a finance institution to at least get some finance knowledge.
I like that.
So that's when I went to the banking industry, yeah.
So it was a deliberate plan, right?
Yeah.
You're like, obviously, with this, your end game is to start your own concern.
Yeah.
But you're like, listen, for my dream to get to that level, I need to bridge that gap where it comes to money and finance.
Yeah.
So do you take a sabbatical from the vocation? Of course you do. Or are you working it? Because then you get into banking.
Yeah.
What are you doing in finance?
So I start off as a salesperson. I think by God's grace, I get a good bank where we were getting 3 months of paid training.
Wow.
So they train you for 3 months. You're in class, you're not working.
Yes.
So they train you about credit, about customer service,
Yes.
about financial markets.
Yes.
Everything to do with banking.
Yes.
Then once you graduate, there's some exams after the 3 months. If you pass the exams, you start off your career as a banker.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where I worked for about 4 years until now. I quit again to go back to tourism.
What happened in the 4th year? I mean, it was just time. You said, okay.
I didn't have a set time. Actually, my set time when I was going to banking was I just want to understand finance for 3 years, then I'll be back to tourism.
I like it.
But then with the money coming in, then with the comfort of being a banker, it extended to 4 years. But then the drive to go back to tourism was so loud in me that I couldn't ignore it.
So, and in finance, while you're working at the bank, you went from, obviously, you were taught everything as, in terms of the banking industry.
Yeah.
But when you left at what position?
I was a senior relationship officer.
I like it. So that interaction with people was very critical in your journey there.
Yes, yes.
All right. So when we're going to take a pause there.
Okay.
When we get back then, we're going to talk about now after your hiatus. It's 4 years down the street. We have got ching-ching. We've made money at the bank. Now we're back.
Yeah.
Then is where your new chapter begins. What chapter is that, pray tell? Well, we're going to find out in just a little bit. But first of all, let's play you a song. And this one is Kirk Franklin, and the song is Stomp.
Yeah.
Where does that take you to, my friend?